Hey everybody, Pinstripe here, what is going on? Today going to be playing some more Hogs of War, progressing on to Mission 8 of the campaign, the spying game, which is where we see the first implementation of both the sniper and the spy on the same team. The spy is really just the upgrade from the sniper. As you remember, that's what I upgraded my sniper to the other day. They have more health, they have a few more weapons, and they also have a trench coat and sunglasses, so character development right there. But we're all going to be starting off on this tiny little island, and we've got to jump our way turn by turn to the main point of the map, which is annoying because you are going to take some sort of water damage, especially if you forget which button is the jump button, like me. But we're going to be moving our first bombardier to the top right hand corner of the map to get some sort of range on the enemy. As you'll also notice, it is a bit confusing because two of the other snipers on the enemy are currently hiding as boxes. You remember, you can do that. They can hide as boxes or trees. Espionage in a nutshell, I don't know, but going to be dishing out the rocket launcher damage onto the medic in a minute. Rocket launchers deal 50 damage in total, and that water damage that we took has been replenished from that health pack, which is kind of handy. And of course, dishing out all the damage that we possibly can right here, right now. It's awesome. But our medic in particular is going to be kind of vulnerable in this match because of the fact that he can be killed in 2 shots. As we recall, the sniper rifle does a maximum of 40 damage. Our medic has 80 health, and do the mathematics, it's really not a good start. He is incredibly vulnerable because the range on the sniper rifle is not limited and he is just out in the open. So you kind of need to start off by trying to distract those snipers as much as possible. Try and move them away from the range and the view of that little island where everybody is already, until you have everyone hopped over onto the main portion of the map. So the heavy weapons guys are going to be dishing out as much mortar damage as possible. I tried to shoot him from here, but my mortar aim wasn't on point that well today, I suppose, to begin with. But again, it's really just a distraction tactic to be like, hey, look at me, don't shoot the medic, because we want that survival bonus at the end of the day. So really any additional damage you can put on them is going to be kind of handy. The medic here as well, having his turn was kind of a godsend, because if it was the other sniper's turn, he probably would have turned to our enemy medic and taken him down anyway. So again, this match in particular is going to be one where each individual class that you have on your team is going to be strained and tested as far as their specialities go, because, you know, the heavy weapons guys have the huge amounts of damage and range that they can put out, same with the sniper. The sapper is really going to come into his own as well, because he's able to get up close and personal with the enemy and dish out that TNT damage and mines and all sorts of things. And the one great thing about having a spy as well is that he has a pickpocket. So all I can really say every single time that you play Hogs of War is, if you have a spy or a sniper that has pickpockets, for the love of God, use them. Because if you're able to pinch a enemy sniper's sniper rifle or an enemy spy's sniper rifle, then that is their primary gun, and they are essentially just like a scout once again, and really don't have any sort of way of dishing out any major amounts of damage and aren't going to be that much of an issue for you. So you've got to think about everything you do tactically, because there's way more that goes into this game than you think. So again, you know, I've got my spy right in front of him, be like, hey, shoot me, man, it's cool, because even though these guys are taking damage, it's eventually going to be the medic's turn to come along and heal them. And as you'll see as we go through, the engineer at this point is like, well, what can I do to dish out the damage? And one special part of this map that most people don't know about is that if you play it for, I can't remember how long the time limit is until the enemy spies float down on parachutes, but you'll notice that little symbol on the ground is where they land. So I figured, as an engineer, the best thing to do is to plant a mine so that when they come down on the parachutes, they will land on said mine and take some sort of damage. The other enemy spy actually comes in the bottom left-hand corner, slightly to the left of our island where we started. So, and I wouldn't really have had time to get anywhere near where his sort of placement of where he lands is. So I just figured I'll dish out some TNT damage on the other sniper and move him away from the range of the island. And of course, if you are able to put down a TNT or sort of set some sort of, not trap, but something like a mine or a TNT, something that you have a time limit to get away from, then position your pig as close to another enemy pig as possible, because that means it kind of gives the next enemy player a dilemma as to whether or not they should go for said enemy pig, because they will dish damage on their own teammate. And so it is then the medic's turn, and he essentially has to play cleanup, go around and make sure everyone is alive come their next turn. He's armed with healing hands, which can dish out 20 health per rub, I suppose. He's got 3 of those, which is handy. He's then got medical darts, which if you shoot a teammate with can heal them for a maximum of 40 health. And then he's armed with medical balls, which essentially do the same thing, but they are basically a grenade, but can heal pigs in the vicinity of sort of how far they detonate. In this case, he's going to heal himself to make sure he stays alive, and that is really the main premise of the medic class, in the fact that you don't need to be dishing out damage on the enemy. As long as you keep everybody alive and get their survival bonus, then that is the main casing point of that class. And like I said at the start of this video, is really where the classes in this mission are going to be tested and their specialities are going to be used, and just making sure everyone is alive and kind of doing their job, I suppose. But this enemy sniper is the first one to bite the dust. It's taken quite a while to get to this point and really slowly diminish down the enemy's health, because they have the advantage of not being seen on the minimap in the bottom left hand corner. That is one of their other specialties. Same with spies as well, and scouts. You can't see them on the minimap, and that becomes way more tricky in future missions as well, because the maps get wider, they get a lot bigger, and unless you know their exact position, gunners in particular are going to have a difficult time of really getting direct shots on them, again, as I said, unless you know their exact position. So he's going to take that maximum 40 damage there. He is dead, which is handy. There's only the medic left, and I remember the first time playing this thinking, oh, it's going to be easy, there's only 2 snipers and a medic, simple. But no, because then these 2 spies drop down on their freaking parachutes. The medic's dead, but then we've got to face up against these 2 spies, and that's like, what, 240 health between them. And that is also why we put down that mine, if you remember, at the very start of the match, because he took 20 health as he landed. And I'm not sure if it's exactly the same as the PlayStation version, but in the PlayStation version, if you put down a mine, then it would do a maximum of about 60 damage, because it would explode, and then there'd be sort of like a mini like, not airstrike, but it would explode, and then like shrapnel would then come down and explode as well on the pig, so it would then do 60 damage on him. But I don't know if he sort of hit the mine, it exploded, and he jumped away, like the explosion pushed him away from the rest of the explosions. I don't know, I don't think that was how it went down, but either way, this is really where the sort of range of a spy or a sniper is put to the test, because we have the high ground, particularly on, well, on both of them, to be honest. I don't really know why I threw that shrapnel grenade. One trick you'll always know in Hogs of War is that grenades, shells, gas shells, I guess, can be bounced across water if you aim down the crosshair to a certain angle. You'll see I'll do it in a bit as well. But really trying to move our other bombardier to a safe distance, because he's going to be constantly peppered by the other 2 spies as well. So having a bit of a tricky time. The other bombardier as well is in a safe zone and can deal some really good damage with the mortar, especially if you get it on target, which at this point my mortar aim was pretty good. And I know I've spoken about mortars before, and I am thinking of doing a separate video from this series talking about mortars, because they are probably the trickiest weapon to understand and use in this game. But dealing 40 damage on him there, dealt 50 on his box, which then take off 10 health, and that's kind of, no, take off 20 health, and that's how much damage you do. So if you do 50 damage on his box, then it protects him, and it does 30 damage on the pig inside the box. That's kind of it. But at this stage, we're all sort of away and covered away from the range of both of the spies, so their sniper rifles aren't going to be an issue, unless of course we sort of poke our heads above the top of the mound that is over here. But this mortar shot as well, dealing out 50 damage, crazy times. He has a cold as well, so he's been poisoned, so he's going to lose 10 health every turn. So everything is in our favor, and we're essentially just going to go around peppering the other team. Our spy is going to finish off the enemy spy, and essentially that's pretty much going to wrap everything up, to be honest. There isn't really much else to say other than spies and snipers, I think, are probably the most irritating class in this game to play against, because they have the sniper rifle, because they're invisible on the minimap, you don't know where they are. So unless you know these missions like off by heart like I do, not tooting my own horn or anything, but you know, as long as you know that, then you'll be alright. But they still annoy me. After 16 years of playing this game, they still really irritate me. But I always find that, you know, when you upgrade them to a spy, they look cool. I always like the trench coats. They're always nice. Yeah, I don't know. But this is kind of where I redeem myself and deal some sort of damage, because the engineer is a little bit weak here. He's only got the shrapnel grenade, so he does have some sort of range, but the majority of his weapons are for being face to face with the enemy and dishing out that large amount of damage. So we're going to finish everything up here by healing up everybody, because that's kind of all the medic can do. He could shoot a grenade at the enemy spy, but that would only destroy his box and not deal any damage on him, because his box has a maximum of 30 health, I believe. Yeah, a maximum of 30 health there. So our bombardier is going to finish everything off here, guys. Hope you enjoyed the gameplay and this mission. It's all under wraps, all is good, and we're going to be progressing on sometime soon in the future. Again, I'm sorry that I haven't been uploading these videos as much as I want to, because, you know, it's kind of like just the little mini series that I'm doing on the channel, but I hope you guys are enjoying them, hope you're learning stuff, and that's pretty much going to wrap everything up here, guys. So thank you so much for joining me. Hope you can like, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will catch you guys later for the next one.